Hello, chosen one. This night will shift your destiny forever. Maybe tonight you feel it more than ever. That weight sitting quietly on your chest. That invisible ache that no one else seems to see. The storm you never asked for, raging silently. Inside you, you didn't choose this chaos. It chose you. Not because you were weak, but because somewhere deep in your soul, something ancient remembers. You were built for a different kind of battle. At first, it feels like life is punishing you. Every piece of who you thought you were begins to fall apart. People walk away without warning. Dreams you once held on to slip through your fingers like water. The world you knew crumbles, and it feels so personal, so unfair. You ask questions into the silence. Why me? What did I do to deserve this? Will this pain ever end? But no answers come. Only more silence. Only more waiting. Only more breaking. Yet hear me when I tell you, this is not the end. This is not your defeat. This is your becoming. The soul only shatters when it is ready to awaken. The universe only strips away illusions when you are ready to remember the truth of who you are. And you are not here to live an ordinary life. You are not here to be another fading voice in the crowd. You are a chosen one, chosen not for comfort, but for greatness, chosen not for ease, but for elevation, chosen not because life is cruel, but because your soul carries something the world needs, something ancient, something divine. Tonight, as you sit inside this storm, I want you to feel the sacredness of your suffering, not to glorify the pain, but to recognize that it has meaning. It is forging you. It is refining you. It is preparing you for a destiny so much bigger than anything you could have imagined. Before the breaking, every tear you've cried in secret was heard. Every night you thought no one cared, the universe was recording your endurance. Every silent scream you carried in your chest became a seed planted deep in the soil of your becoming. You were never being ignored. You were never being forgotten. You were being grown. Because only those who know the depths of darkness can carry the brightest light. Only those who have been broken into pieces can rebuild something unshakable within themselves. Only those who survive the storm can command the winds. You are not weak because you hurt. You are not broken because you're tired. You are not lost because you feel alone. You're in the middle of your awakening. The chaos was not sent to destroy you. It was sent to reveal you. Somewhere deep within your bones, you know this. You have always known. Even when you doubted, even when you forgot, a part of you still held on. A part of you refused to give up. That part of you is your true self, your chosen self. The world may never understand your storms, but they were never meant to. They were tailored perfectly for your soul's journey, not theirs. And though it feels unfair now, it feels heavy now. One day soon you will look back and see every wave that tried to drown you was actually lifting you higher. Every collapse was actually a clearing, making space for your true destiny to rise. Take a breath. Close your eyes. Feel it. Beneath the chaos, beneath the ache, beneath the exhaustion, there is a power awakening inside you. A power that cannot be taken. A power that was never dependent on anything outside you. You are not the storm. You are the sky that holds it. And no matter how fierce the winds, no matter how heavy the rain, you will remain. You will rise because you are chosen. Because you are becoming. Because this storm is only the beginning of the greatest becoming your soul has ever known. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when the silence grows louder than the noise, when the world's distractions can no longer drown out the aching truth rising from within. And in that silence, in that quiet, heavy space, something ancient stirs. At first, all you see is the darkness, the betrayals that left you questioning your worth, the wounds carved by careless words, by broken promises, the abandonment that taught you how to survive without ever truly feeling safe. Each scar becomes a shadow on the walls of your heart. And yet, what if I told you the darkness was never there to break you? What if I told you it was a mirror, one so profound, so sacred that it reflected back the deepest parts of who you truly are? Because underneath every wound, there is a warrior. Beneath every scar, a story of survival. Inside every ache, there is a doorway back to your divine self. The world tried to convince you that your pain made you weak, that your sensitivity was a curse, that your yearning for something deeper was foolish. But the truth is, your pain was never your prison. It was your passage. Every heartbreak cracked the false layers that were never really you. Every disappointment shattered the illusions you once mistook for love, for belonging, for home. Every betrayal ripped away the masks, revealing the raw, radiant soul that had been buried under years of pretending. You are not who the world told you to be. You are who the fire revealed you to be. And maybe it's messy. Maybe it's confusing. Maybe some days you don't recognize yourself at all. But that's because you are remembering who you were before the world told you to forget. You are in the middle of a chosen one awakening, a spiritual transformation so deep, so holy, that most people will never even glimpse its power. You are not lost. You are shedding. You are not broken. You are breaking open. You are not abandoned. You are being summoned inward to the sacred place where divine destiny is written into your very DNA. This darkness you walk through is not a mistake. It's a mirror. It's asking you to look deeper, to remember the parts of you that were always too powerful to be hidden forever. It's in the loneliness that you hear your soul speak clearly. It's in the rejection that you realize you were never meant to fit into places that dishonor your light. It's in the pain that you awaken a spiritual power no one can take from you. You are not the sum of your suffering. You are the sacred survivor of it. And every tear you thought was wasted was actually watering the soil of your divine destiny. It's okay if you're still scared. It's okay if you're still tired. It's okay if you're still trying to believe that your healing is even possible. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to keep walking, keep breathing, keep trusting that even in the unseen, your higher calling is unfolding in ways your human mind could never predict. Because you were never abandoned by the divine. You were being prepared to manifest your destiny, prepared to awaken your true purpose, prepared to step into a spiritual power so real, so unstoppable, that no amount of darkness could ever hold you captive again. This mirror, this darkness, it's not your enemy. It's your initiation. It's the sacred threshold every chosen one must cross. The moment when you stop looking outside yourself for validation, for permission, for worth, and you start realizing you are the validation, you are the permission, you are the worth, and no storm, no betrayal, no loss can ever take away what was placed inside you by divine hands. Tonight, as you sit in this sacred silence, let it mirror back the truth. You are chosen. You are powerful. You are exactly where you need to be to awaken your true purpose. Take a breath. Let the old illusions fall away. You don't have to carry them anymore. Feel the weight lifting. Feel the truth rising. You are not becoming someone new. You are finally remembering who you've been all along. And that is the beginning of manifesting a destiny greater than anything you've ever dreamed. There are nights when sleep becomes impossible, when your body is tired but your soul is wide awake, eyes closed, yet the heart beats louder than silence itself. And in those still hours you've heard it, the whisper, soft, persistent, familiar, yet ancient. It's the call that no one else hears, the voice that never quite goes quiet, and it doesn't speak in words alone. It speaks in feelings, in flashes, in that haunting ache that refuses to leave you alone. You've tried to dismiss it, to silence it, to outgrow it. But no matter how far you run, it follows, because it's not outside you. It is you. Late at night, when the world is finally quiet, the truth rises. Your soul speaks, not with volume, but with clarity. And it doesn't scream, it reminds. It reminds you that you were never meant to live an ordinary life, that your discomfort in the shallow things of the world is not a flaw, but a sign, that your ache is not weakness, but a spiritual initiation. You've always felt different, not better, not above, just different, like you were designed for, something you couldn't yet explain. You saw through lies before you had the language to call them lies. You felt the pain in others so deeply, you began to numb your own. And when you tried to fit in, it hurt even more, because every part of your soul was whispering, you didn't come here to fit in, you came here to awaken. This pain, it wasn't random. This delay, it wasn't denial. It was all orchestrated by something greater. Every closed door, every betrayal, every season of silence, every night where you cried and questioned if you were crazy for believing there had to be more. They weren't setbacks. They were sacred signals, proof that you are not asleep like the rest of the world. You feel more because you are more. You are in the process of divine refinement, the kind no one claps for, the kind no one sees. But the universe, it sees you. It knows your name. It's been waiting for you to stop doubting what you've always known deep down. That whisper that won't let you sleep. That's your soul screaming through the stillness. You are chosen. You are here for a higher calling. And this ache is your activation. You didn't come here to live by default. You came to live on purpose, to awaken your true purpose, to shake the slumber from your spirit and remember the reason you were born. And though the road is lonely, though the nights are long, though the whispers feel like they're breaking you sometimes, they're actually breaking you open. Open to the truth. Open to the guidance. Open to the divine destiny that's always been waiting for your yes. So the next time the world sleeps and your soul stirs, and don't silence it, don't dismiss it, sit with it, feel it, let it speak louder than fear, because what you're hearing in those sacred, sleepless nights isn't a disturbance, it's a divine message. You were never meant to sleep through this life. You were meant to rise through it, to walk awake, to live chosen, to manifest your destiny. There are wounds you've never spoken of, not because you didn't want to, but because no one would have understood. What you went through was more than pain. It was sacred fire, a fire that didn't just hurt, it transformed. The universe did not test you to break you. It was purifying you, cleansing the false stories, burning the masks, dissolving the illusions. You thought you were being punished, but in truth, you were being prepared. Chosen ones aren't made in comfort. They're forged in chaos. They're shaped in silence. They're born in the fire, not the kind that consumes, but the kind that reveals, because the fire you walked through wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to destroy everything you were never meant to carry. The doubt, the fear, the people who dimmed your light, the beliefs that told you to shrink when your soul was meant to expand. This world tried to bury you. But what they didn't know is that you were a seed. And what does a seed feel when it's buried? Alone, dark, cold, confused. But that burial is not death. It's divine preparation. It's the sacred waiting room before the rise. You weren't buried. You were planted. And the fire, it didn't burn you down. It burned you open. Because only through pressure, only through sacred pain, only through what looks like falling apart, can the soul awaken to its power. There's a reason you felt everything so deeply. A reason you couldn't numb like others did. Because you weren't built to escape. You were built to evolve. You were meant to feel it all so you could transmute it. So you could walk through the fire and come out not just alive, but reborn. Every breakdown, every betrayal, every moment of sacred solitude, it was all part of your initiation. You didn't lose your way. You were walking the hidden path. The path of the soul warrior. The one chosen by the universe to carry light through the darkest valleys. And that kind of power, it cannot be faked. It must be earned. You earned it through your silence. Through the nights you couldn't stop crying but refused to give up. Through the days when nothing made sense, yet you kept believing, somehow, some way. This is making me into something more. And it was. You were being stripped down, so that only your truth would remain. Not who the world told you to be, not who fear convinced you to become, but the divine being you always were underneath the wounds. This is the sacred path of the chosen one. It's not the easy path. It's the necessary one. And now that you've walked through the fire, now that you've survived what was meant to destroy you, you're not just strong. You're pure. You're aligned. You're awake. You're ready. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are becoming whole. The fire didn't take you. It gave you something. It gave you vision. It gave you wisdom. It gave you the keys to your own freedom. The universe trusts you now, with truth, with healing, with light, because you passed the test not by winning, but by not quitting. And maybe no one else saw your quiet battles, but the divine did, and it whispered, "This one, this soul, this is the one I've chosen." You were never just surviving. You were remembering, reclaiming, rising. So let the fire be your proof, not of what you lost, but of who you found. And that person, that sacred soul, is who you were always meant to become. There is a memory buried inside you, older than your name, older than this lifetime, older than pain itself. It does not live in your mind. It lives in your bones, in your blood, in your breath. A sacred knowing, waiting for you to remember. You felt it in moments you couldn't explain. A flash of knowing that came from nowhere. A strange strength rising inside you when you should have collapsed. That wasn't random. That was remembrance. Because you didn't come here empty. You came here encoded, with wisdom, with purpose, with the divine assignment woven into your very being. And though the world tried to make you forget, your soul never did. Your soul never forgot who you are. That ache in your chest, that pull towards something greater, that sense that you were always meant for more, even when life tried to tell you otherwise. It's the sacred memory hidden in your bones. You were born with it. And every tear you've cried, every heartbreak you've endured, every silent scream that echoed through your soul, it's been watering something. A seed of divine truth waiting to rise. This isn't just healing. This is remembering. Remembering that you are not broken. You are becoming. That you are not weak. You are waking up. That your pain was not punishment. It was prophecy. You are part of something holy, a lineage of light, a spiritual bloodline that stretches back through lifetimes. Not everyone will understand that, but that's okay, because it wasn't meant for everyone. It was meant for you. The chosen ones aren't chosen because they're perfect. They're chosen because they remember. They remember their light, even when they're surrounded by darkness. They remember their truth, even when the world tries to rewrite their story. And when others give up, they rise. You carry this memory not just in your spirit, but in your body. In the way your heart won't let go of the dream. In the way your intuition keeps whispering even when logic says quit. That's not fantasy. That's your original power coming back online. You were never meant to fit into a world that was built to forget. You were born to remind it, to bring back the sacred, to carry the codes of compassion, truth, healing, love, even if it cost you everything, because you've known all along, haven't you? Haven't? Even as a child, you felt different, not better, not above, just called. And that calling, it's not gone. It's just been buried under fear, under trauma, under noise. But the soul always remembers. And now, in this moment, you are remembering too. Let yourself feel it. The warmth, the ache, the undeniable pull back into your truth. This is not a new journey. This is the continuation of a sacred mission you've carried across lifetimes. This is why nothing else ever felt like home. Because your soul was never looking for comfort. It was looking for truth. And now the remembering begins. You are not lost. You are being reawakened. So breathe into that. Let the memory rise. Let your bones speak. Let your soul guide you back. Because you are not here by accident. You are not weak. You are not forgotten. You are the remembrance. You are the sacred. You are the return. You are the prophecy awakening in real time. There comes a moment, not marked by fanfare or flashing lights, but by silence. A moment where, in the stillness of your soul, you hear something shift, not outside, but within. It's subtle, but undeniable. It's the moment you stop waiting for someone to see you, waiting for life to finally validate you, waiting for the past to change, for closure to come, for the right time to begin. It's the moment you look in the mirror, and instead of seeing your flaws, your wounds, your history, you see yourself. Who you've always been beneath the weight of what the world made you believe, and in that moment, you choose yourself. Not in arrogance, not in rebellion, but in truth. You decide that you are enough, that your voice matters, that your existence is not an accident, but a divine design, that everything you've survived wasn't meant to harden you, but awaken you. And something sacred happens when you choose yourself. The universe listens because you are not separate from it. You are part of the pulse, a living expression of divine destiny. And when you shift, reality bends. The people who doubted you start falling away. The doors you once begged to open no longer matter, and paths that once seemed blocked begin to unfold. not because they changed, but because you did. This is spiritual transformation. This is when emotional healing becomes divine power. When you realize you no longer have to be rescued because you've remembered your own light. You are not here to be small. You are not here to blend in. You are here to rise, to disrupt the silence with your truth, to stand tall in the places you once shrunk, to be the version of you that your younger self always hoped was real. The moment you choose yourself, you become unstoppable, not because life becomes easy, but because you are no longer at war with yourself. You've come home to your worth, to your knowing, to your spiritual power. This is the part the world doesn't prepare you for, that your rebirth won't come from applause. It will come from choosing you when no one else does, from standing in your reflection, hands trembling, heart open, and saying, I may not be where I thought I'd be, but I'm still worthy. I may not have all the answers, but I am here. I may have been broken, but I am whole. Because being chosen isn't about perfection, it's about permission. And when you give yourself permission to rise, the ashes no longer define you. They become your soil, the foundation of your becoming. This is not fantasy. This is frequency, a spiritual frequency of alignment, of awakening your true purpose, of living not for approval, but for truth. You no longer bend to fit where you don't belong. You no longer chase love that requires your silence. You no longer beg for the crumbs of validation, because you have chosen yourself. And when you choose yourself, you walk differently, you speak differently, you attract differently. You begin to create the life that was always meant for you, not a life of survival, but of abundance, of purpose, of divine destiny fulfilled. Let this be that moment, the one you look back on and whisper, that's when everything changed. That's when I remembered who I am. You are not late. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are becoming, and it all begins the moment you choose yourself. You've been searching, looking through broken timelines, forgotten places, and fading memories, trying to find what you lost. But the truth is, it was never taken from you. Your crown was never stolen. It was simply set down, gently, silently, placed in a sacred corner of your soul until the day you were ready to remember it. And that day is now. You thought you needed to earn it, prove yourself, bleed for it. You thought the world had to approve before you could claim your own power. But power like yours doesn't come from outside validation. It comes from ancient remembrance, because what you're reclaiming isn't new. It's old, sacred, holy. It's the original blueprint of your being, before the world told you to be smaller, before they convinced you that your softness was weakness, before the heartbreak, the rejection, the forgetting, the peace you longed for, the purpose you chased, the divine destiny that kept whispering your name in the dark. It was never out there. It was always within, dormant, waiting, not because you were unworthy, but because you were becoming, because the journey, the ache, the loss, they were part of the remembering. You are not just healing, you are reuniting with your own soul. You are not finding your path, you are walking back to it. This is not a recovery. This is a resurrection. You do not need to fight for what's already yours. You only need to remember. And remembrance is power, not the loud kind, not the kind that seeks control, but the soft, unshakable knowing that you were always chosen, that even in your silence you were sacred, that even in your exile you were royal, that even in your breaking you were still whole. This is the moment the false identities fall away. The shame returns to dust. The masks melt in the light of your truth. You don't need permission anymore. You've outgrown the illusion of needing to be fixed. You were never broken, only buried. And now you rise, not with vengeance, but with vision, not with pride, but with purpose. Reclaim your crown, reclaim your peace, reclaim the sacred power that's been pulsing in your bones since the beginning. You don't need to become anything. You only need to return to yourself, because you were never meant to chase what was always waiting for you to remember. You are the one. You are the answer. You are the divine remembrance made flesh. And now you are home. You waited for someone to see you, to understand the ache you couldn't put into words, to hold the space for your silent cries, your hidden battles, your sacred pain. But no one came in the way you needed. And maybe that wasn't a punishment. Maybe that was an initiation. Because somewhere in the silence, somewhere in the unanswered prayers and long, lonely nights, you were becoming the very thing you were waiting for. You weren't meant to be rescued. You were meant to remember. You are not the wound. You are the healing. You are not the victim. You are the alchemist. You don't need saving. You are the saving. The light that others are searching for is you. Fully you, scarred and shining. You don't just carry pain. You've transmuted it. You've turned your suffering into soul, your flaws into fire, your silence into sacred power, and now you walk differently. Not because life has been kind, but because you've met the darkness and refused to become it. You became light instead, not the kind that blinds, but the kind that guides, the kind that whispers to the lost, you are not alone. I've walked this road too, because what you've learned through the storms, the heartbreaks, the nights that almost broke you, was never meant to be hoarded. It was meant to be shared, lived, spoken, felt. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more real ones, more healed ones, more of you. Your existence is an answer. Your presence is a permission slip. Your story is a survival map. You didn't just survive, you transcended. You didn't just get through it, you became medicine. And this is what makes you chosen. not because you're above anyone, but because you chose to rise, not in anger but in light. You are not here to rule. You are here to remind others of who they are beneath their wounds, to hold a mirror that reflects the divine in them, just like you finally saw it in yourself. So now, as you walk forward, do it with sacred knowing. You are the light you once longed for. And someone out there, right now, is praying for a light like you. Don't dim, don't doubt. You've already become what you once needed, and now, you are what this world needs next. It doesn't always arrive with thunder. There's no grand announcement, no lightning in the sky. Sometimes it's quieter than a whisper, softer than breath. But you know when it comes. Tonight, it came. Not from the world, not from voices around you, but from deep within. A stillness so sacred, it almost scared you. A shift so silent, yet undeniable that your soul stood still and listened. Something ancient stirred, not memory, but knowing, not logic, but alignment. This wasn't another restless night. This was the night you finally stopped running from yourself, because you've run long enough, you've doubted long enough, you've worn masks, played small, questioned the pull inside you for long enough. But tonight, that inner voice grew louder than the noise. It didn't plead, it didn't beg. It simply called you home, and for the first time you didn't ignore it. Because on this night the ache inside wasn't pain, it was recognition. It was your destiny, whispering your name like it had 1,000 times before. But this time, you heard it. This time, you answered. And no, nothing outside changed. The world didn't stop. The stars didn't realign. But you did. You changed. In the high, most powerful way a soul can change. You remembered who you are, and when the soul remembers, nothing remains the same. Because once you say yes, not with words, but with the full fire of your being, life bends to match that frequency. It's not magic, it's alignment. It's the sacred law of destiny. The moment you accept that, you were never forgotten. You realize you've always been guided, and tonight, under these quiet stars, you didn't just hope for a sign, you became it. This is your night of becoming, of returning, of reclaiming. This is the moment you stop asking if you're ready and start walking like you've already arrived. Because destiny doesn't wait. It watches, it listens, it waits for you to say yes. And you just did. So now, rise. Not with force, but with grace. Not with doubt, but with divine remembrance. The universe felt your decision. The stars heard it, and the world will now reflect it. Your soul has spoken. Destiny has answered, and from this night forward, nothing will ever be the same. You don't just move forward now. You don't just walk in the direction of your dreams or goals like the world is leading you. You move with purpose. Every step you take is heavy with meaning. You walk now not as an individual, but as a continuation of a divine lineage, a flame that has been passed, burning brighter with each moment, each decision. The path is clear. It may not always be easy. It may not always be simple, but it is yours, and that is enough. The world has been waiting for you to find it, to recognize it as your own. And now that you've answered the call, you see it. The way forward, the path of destiny. This isn't just a journey of survival anymore. This is a journey of fulfillment, of walking into the very essence of who you were born to be. This is the kind of walk that transcends time. This is the kind of walk that resounds in the heavens. Every step you take is a testament to your strength, your courage, your faith. It doesn't matter how long the road is or how rough it gets. The divine power that walks with you makes you unstoppable. And you know you were sent for this. You were born for this. Every struggle was to prepare you. Every tear was to remind you. Every silence was to teach you. Now the world can feel it. Now the world can see it. The world knows that something extraordinary is walking among them. So walk with your head held high. Walk with the fire of purpose burning in your chest. Walk with the confidence that no matter how challenging the path, you are divinely guided. You are divinely protected. Walk as if you were sent because you were. And you were sent to leave an imprint on this world that no one will ever forget. Every step you take now is part of the divine design. Now, keep walking, keep rising. The world has waited long enough. It is time for you to show them exactly why.